Chapter 5: The Fundamental Unit of Life. What are living organisms made up of? We observe small buildings, bungalows, and tall towers, which are the places of human residence. These are the constructions using the same type of materials such as iron rods, bricks, cement, sand, stones, etc. These non-living things are made up of building blocks. That is the foundation which supports pillars, beams, and slab. We come across walls, doors, windows of different size and shapes. Altogether, the structure is a cement concrete construction having an external appearance as well as distinct internal structure. We observe a similar situation with living organisms. There are different kinds of living organisms on this earth. They differ in their size and shape. They live in different habitats, air, water, or land. All these living organisms are made up of the same building blocks. The common basic structural and functional unit of living beings is called a cell. A cell has a distinct structure as well as a specific function. In the year 1665, Robert Hooke discovered the cells in a thin section of cork, that is, bark of a tree, which is an outer protective layer of the trunk. He observed these cells with a self-designed microscope. The structures resembled the compartments of a honeycomb. The compartments were empty. The cells of cork were dead and without any content. He labeled the compartments as cells. The cell in Latin means small room. Every living thing may be different from the other, but it is made up of separate tiny units called cells. Let us understand these small units with the help of an activity. Activity. Take a small piece of onion bulb. With the help of a pair of forceps, peel off the skin called epidermis from concave inner side of onion. Put it in a watch glass containing water. This will prevent folding and drying of separated peel. Take a clean glass slide. Put a drop of water on it. Transfer a small piece of peel on the slide with the help of a brush. Stretch the peel and make it flat on the side. Put a drop of dilute iodine solution on the peel. Place the cover slip carefully with the help of the mounting needle. Do not allow air bubbles to enter on the slide. This is a temporary mounting of onion peel. Observe the peel under compound microscope. Focus the slide first under low power and then turn it on high power. We observe rectangular structures attached to each other. Try and draw these structures on a paper. Repeat the same experiment with different sizes of onion bulbs. What do you observe? You would observe that all the different sizes of onion bulbs show similar basic structures. These small structures are the building units for an onion bulb. Similarly, all living organisms are made up of building units called cells. As learnt, cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Later, in 1674, Leeuwenhoek discovered free living cells in the sample of pond water with the help of an improved microscope. In the year 1831, Robert Brown, a school teacher, continued the work of Robert Hooke on microscopes and invented an advanced microscope. He observed that there is a new world within a cell. He said that the cell was like a small factory with around 12 to 13 cell organelles within, each organelle carrying out a particular task. He discovered the presence of the nucleus, a spherical body in cells. In 1839, a Czech animal physiologist, Johannes Parkinge, named the living fluid present within the cell as protoplasm. Proto means first and plasm means colloid. M. J. Sheldon and Theodore Schwann, 1838 to 39, proposed the cell theory. According to this theory, all plants are composed of cells. The cell is the basic unit of life. In 1885, R. Virchow modified this theory, saying that all the cells arise from existing cells. New cells are formed by the division of the parent cell into two daughter cells. Invention of magnifying lens led to the discovery of many microscopic organisms. It was then known that a single cell constitutes a whole organism within itself. These organisms are called unicellular organisms. Uni means single. Amoeba, Paramecium, Chlamydomonas and bacteria are some examples of unicellular organisms. Whereas many cells group together in a single body to perform different functions to form various body parts in a single organism. These types of organisms are called multicellular organisms. Multi means many. Thus, organisms consisting of many cells of similar or different types, performing different types of functions, are multicellular organisms. Hence, it can be stated that each multicellular organism comes from a single cell. This proves the cell theory that all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. With the discovery of electron microscope in 1940, it was easy to understand the complex structure of a cell and its organelles. The electron microscope has a much higher resolution power than a normal laboratory compound microscope. It magnifies and resolves the objects clearly. Let us perform another activity to understand the variety of cells found in nature. Take different sizes of onions and prepare temporary mounds of leaf peels, root tips or peels of onions. What do you observe? You would observe that the basic structure of all the cells is the same. Whereas some organisms have cells of different kinds. The shape and size of the cells are different. These different characteristics help the cells to function specifically on any organ. For example, amoeba has the ability to change its form. This is because the cells of amoeba are flexible and help it to change its form. On the other hand, some cells have a fixed shape and a particular function to accomplish. For example, nerve cells of a human has a typical shape and a particular function. Its function is to carry signals from brain to different parts of the body and vice versa. Cells have the capacity to perform certain basic functions. This capacity of a cell to function efficiently is a characteristic of all living things. As humans are multicellular organisms, each cell has to coordinate with the other cells to work properly. This coordination can also be stated as division of labor of cells in multicellular organisms. In our body, the stomach is concerned with churning of food and helps in its digestion. The kidney is a chief excretory organ which reabsorbs the necessary materials and throws out unwanted waste products. The heart functions like a pump and circulates the blood through the blood vessels throughout our body. The ears are the external organs which are concerned with hearing of sound. Division of labor is seen within a single cell. Each cell contains some components which perform a specific function within the cell environment. The different components of a cell are known as cell organelles. Exchange of materials, synthesis of proteins, and release of energy are some of the specialized functions of the cell. These functions are performed by specialized cell organelles. The different organelles constitute together to form the basic unit called the cell. A cell can survive and perform all its functions because of these organelles. All living organisms are made up of small units called cells. These cells have cell organelles which perform a specific function. The organelles of cell can differ from organism to organism, but their functions do not change.